What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God. As there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy, had that strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, awesome, okay? So you know we do the background, the prior word, and then the event or events themselves, right? So, on August 21st, the Lord had spoke to me and told me about the drinking water, okay? To pray against an attack against the drinking water, the water supply. And so then now I'm looking about a month later, and Southeast Louisiana is concerned about saltwater intrusion coming in their water supply. So now everybody kind of freaking out about that in that area, knowing the history with all the stuff they go through. But yeah, I mean, manifestations after manifestations after manifestations, and that's not the only place, of course. So make sure we praying against these attacks and praying against what could affect our water supply, okay? Or anywhere that you live. All right, so I'm going to take you to the prior word and then the event, okay? Peace and blessings, and I'll catch you all in the next one. So here, August 21st dream that I had was about water, something happening to water, okay? And so let me just tell you the dream. So in the dream, I was at this school, and it was a normal day. Everybody was doing what they normally do, you know, acting however they want to act and doing however they want to do. And then all of a sudden everybody started freaking out, and I saw like these girls were crying because this boy was sick, and then I looked in front of me at one of the doors, and on the door it was saying something about the water, like hazardous, or the water's gotten shut off because something's wrong with it, okay? For some reason in the dream, like while all this was happening, we were looking for a guy who disappeared. And people were being monitored, like just watched over as all this was happening. So we were looking for somebody who disappeared, and people were being monitored and watched over as this water was being shut off. So this is what the Lord had to say. The enemy has a plan to cut off your water supply. Many have already been affected. Take heed and listen closely. You have the ability to pray against these things. I need my children to stop being in fear and stand up against these attacks with prayer. So that's what the Lord had to say.
Tonight, the state of Louisiana is facing a potential drinking water crisis. Persistent drought conditions have lowered levels of the Mississippi River, allowing salt water to creep in from the Gulf of Mexico, where it threatens to contaminate the freshwater. CBS's Omar Villafranca is in New Orleans, where the city has declared an emergency.
This is pretty significant.
Heath Jones is with the Army Corps of Engineers. They're in a race to fix a looming threat brewing underwater. Extremely dry conditions over the past few months have led to historic low levels on the Mississippi River, allowing dense saltwater from the Gulf to creep its way upriver, which could affect the ability to treat and supply drinking water in New Orleans. In July, these boats built a sill, or an underwater levee, to try and slow the saltwater. But last week, the sill was overtopped. Now, engineers are working to increase its height by 30 feet. We're about 20 miles south of New Orleans in Plaquemines Parish, and this is where the Army Corps of Engineers is adding to their sill. They're taking silt from the bottom of the Mississippi River and then stacking it over here to form a higher barrier to try to slow down the salt water. If you get this barrier higher up, how much time do you think that buys you?
10 to 15 days.
So far, the dense saltwater has moved about 70 miles upriver. It's predicted to hit Belle Chase in southern New Orleans by the middle of next month. Solutions include using barges to ship millions of gallons of water to treatment plants, or tapping into other water resources upstream. Donald Link co-owns several restaurants in the Big Easy. He's already inquiring about water tanks.
I'm not just going to sit here and hope. was that hope is not a plan. We're going to get ready for it and hope that it never happens.
The governor of Louisiana has requested a federal emergency declaration over a potential drinking water crisis. Millions of people there get their fresh water from the Mississippi River. But due to a summer drought, salt water is now making its way up the river and threatening to contaminate the drinking supply. New Orleans Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness Director Colin Arnold joins us now. Colin, I understand the saltwater intrusion is projected to hit New Orleans late next month.
Thank you for that update. And news of saltwater threatening drinking water as people rushing to the stores, as we just heard, to stock up on bottled water. But government officials say there is no need to do that. Meg Ferris is back from talking to some of the people at those stores. Joining us now with more. Meg.
And Sharice, you just heard an hour ago, the governor said no need to panic. There's enough drinking water. All the infrastructure is still in place to get us water if we need some. But still, here's what we saw today. Usually when the Saints are away, people who are making groceries fill their baskets with snack foods and alcohol, but not this weekend.
Because they say we're not going to have nothing but salt water, and I need something to drink. Do what you got to do, you know, when things get tough.
At the Bromart in Belle Chase, it is water everywhere.
As far as drinking the water and cooking with it, I'm in fear of that, and so we need to get the water so that we can have fresh water for our cooking and bathing and even washing our faces and brushing our teeth. So
I have a couple of cases at home, but I also have pets that if the salt water does get into our water system, I don't want to be feeding my pets bad water.
Bromont managers say normally 4 to 5 pallets are good for a weekend, but today they're putting out 38.
Are your suppliers having enough, keeping up with your demand?
So far, they haven't had any issue. We've gotten everything that we've ordered and more. They've been very helpful.
At the Costco, people waited in a long line for their stash of H2O, but at the Sam's in Harvey, it's a different story.
they have been out since early this morning. Nothing on the store shelves. Don't know when they're going to get anything in.
We got a lady right by the door. If y'all coming for water, don't bother coming in. It was empty. There was nothing there.
All these stores are not prepared because these people are panicking. You got kids, you got adults, you got middle-aged people, citizens that needs water.
One shopper was upset after coming from a store in Harahan.
It was a swarm of people around the water. I was scared. It's like it's a pandemic all over again, like the tissue. I was scared, Meg, and it's just frightening.